Looking at it from the stats perspective, in terms of settlement failures, I know that ETF settlement failures have been, a focus for ESMA in Europe. Why are we seeing higher levels of settlement failure rates in certain months, Jim?
Yeah, I mean, I think the ETF settlement discipline, a lot of it comes down to fragmentation. Naturally, it's a more fragmented market. If you think of all the different share classes and trading lines you can have with an ETF, it's not uncommon to have an ETF that has more than 15 different trading lines across several different share classes. And a lot of that listing is to provide access to investors across the globe outside of the US, everywhere from Latin America, Europe, Asia, the Middle East. So you do have this more naturally fragmented footprint, but I think a lot of it is due to post-trade restrictions, where there's a lot of post-trade and settlement frictions that I think we can do better at becoming more connected, becoming more aligned. We see a lot where trading decisions and listing decisions are not based on liquidity, but they are more based on post-trade restrictions from a settlement perspective. And those are the kind of things that we can overcome and that will reduce some of that natural fragmentation, and will help improve settlement rates. So things like the lack of CSD or ICSD interconnectivity or CCP interoperability, those are the kind of things that will help improve settlement discipline for ETFs. However, in this naturally fragmented state that we're in at present, that's why you tend to see higher fail rates. I don't think it's anything to do with the underlying settlement cycles themselves. Just naturally the way that ETFs are listed and traded and having to move the inventory across all those different trading lines can naturally lead to higher fail rates or poorer settlement rates.
Sure. So barriers to clearing and settlement pose a big problem here. Ben, did you want to comment on that topic?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Jim. I think given, I think it's two things. One is it's also the growth of ETFs, right? They've witnessed remarkable growth globally, and that trend's expected to continue. So I think the commercial side of ETFs has gone crazy. I don't think that all of the infrastructure has managed to keep up with it. I think it's as simple as that. And certainly where you see spikes in failures is where you see spikes in volume. So if it's busy season in Europe, you might see some larger fouls in ETFs. Same when there was volatility in the US because of some of the things that were going on over there. We saw an increase in activity volume, therefore an increase in foul. So I don't think it's anything to do with the settlement cycle. I just think it's such a successful asset class at the moment. It's growing and growing, and the infrastructure is not quite kept up. And I do think I agree with Jim. I think that it's encouraging to see that there are moves to reduce some of that fragmentation in Europe, and we certainly want to see more of that because we want that to become more of a much smoother marketplace for ETFs to continue to grow.
Sure, makes perfect sense, and certainly a goal I think the EU is trying to aim for at this particular moment in time.